Chapter 41. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Qingyu's action not only stunned the classmates in the class, but also frightened Fang Hongke who was standing beside him, even his skinny body trembled slightly. I am Li Qingyu. What? Do you have something to do with me? After beating Fatty Zhao, Li Qingyu turned his head to look at the little man next to him, his voice a little cold. It's okay, it's okay. I just came to ask. Fang Hongke suddenly saw the beater talking to him, and finally came back to his senses from this one-sided battle. Ah! I suddenly remembered that I haven't done my homework yet, and it will be overdue if I don't do it. Goodbye. Facing Li Qingyu, Fang Hongke was so panicked that he was a little at a loss and incoherent. He waved his hand and ran out of the classroom of class 313, and secretly made a decision, never come to the poor student class again. Beating people is really too cruel. Zhao Mingquan, the slaps are over now. But you still have 3 fools left that you haven't shouted in front of the whole class. Do you want to shout them out yourself? Or do you plan to change them into 3 more slaps? Seeing Fang Hongke leave, Li Qingyu turned around and said to Fatty Zhao, who was lying on the ground sobbing. I'm so miserable, why don't you let me go? Woo woo woo, Zhao Mingquan cried even louder and more miserably. Oh. It seems you still want to end the bet with a slap. Li Qingyu still looked very cold and took a small step towards him. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Fatty Zhao, who was lying on the ground, saw that Li Qingyu had no mercy at all, and shouted loudly, afraid of being hit 3 more times on his swollen cheek. The other party was too cruel and it hurt too much. Woo woo woo. After Zhao Mingquan shouted, he got up from the ground and ran out of the classroom with his face covered. I don't know if he was too ashamed to face people, or if he went to the infirmary to reduce the swelling like last time. Li Qingyu. Principal Zhang has something to talk to you, let's go to the office together. During this break, Li Qingyu had a lot of things to do, one after another. Hu Yuzhou, who had just left for a few minutes, returned to the classroom door. He looked up and saw a gentle middle-aged man standing next to Lao Hu. He was the vice principal of Chengyu Middle School in charge of teaching. When the other party saw Li Qingyu looking at him, he smiled and nodded at him. Yeah. Li Qingyu also nodded and walked outside. Master. Su Yunman called softly, with a worried look on her face. It's okay. I'll be back in a while. Li Qingyu smiled at her, and then went to the office with the head teacher and Principal Zhang. Fuck, Li Qingyu's cheating this time is a solid evidence, right? It must be a solid evidence. Principal Zhang came to find him, so how could it be false? Well, it seems that Li Qingyu's exam incident was a bit big, so much so that even Principal Zhang came out in person. He really deserves it. You said he cheated, so he cheated? And he had to get 748 points. Isn't that too high profile? He was afraid that no one would notice it. What you said makes sense, but I just saw Principal Zhang nodding and smiling at Li Qingyu. It doesn't seem like he wants to cause trouble for him. A classmate asked with some confusion. Principal Zhang is gentle and polite to everyone, so it's understandable. Alas, it's a pity for Fatty Zhao. If Principal Zhang had come a little earlier, he wouldn't have been beaten. Hey, you know what, Li Qingyu is really fierce when he hits people. Fatty Zhao, who is so big, was beaten down by him. Well, reality tells us that we must never underestimate honest people. Li Qingyu was such a good child before. It is estimated that he was really forced into a corner by Fatty Zhao, so he became like this. When the students in class 313 were basically sure that Li Qingyu was caught because of cheating. He was already sitting in Principal Zhang's office, about to taste tea with the principal and teachers. Come, try this special Mingqian West Lake Longjing. It has a fresh and noble aroma and a fresh and mellow taste. It's really good. After Principal Zhang brewed the tea, he stood up and poured a cup for Li Qingyu and Hu Yuzhou. Not bad. He took a sip and felt it was okay, although it was inferior to the fairy tea and spiritual tea he had tasted in other planes. It's far away, but in the secular world, it is indeed a top grade. You scored 748 points in this monthly exam. Many teachers in the school think that you got the high score by cheating. Only Principal Zhang stood out and determined that you got the high score with your true ability. Hu Yuzhou also took a sip of tea and said to Li Chengyu. Oh, Li Chengyu set himself the goal of being the top scorer in the college entrance examination. He thought that he would eventually expose his strength, and in this regard, it is better to expose it early than late, resolve the dispute early and avoid various problems. It is much easier to solve than facing those disputes after the college entrance examination results are released. Li Chengyu had already prepared for various doubts after the monthly exam results were announced, but he didn't expect that the Principal Zhang in front of him not only trusted him, but also helped him solve those disputes. He thought about it and saw if the Li family had any friendship with Principal Zhang, but in his mind, he had no impression of this principal, so why would the other party be so kind to help me? In addition to being the vice principal of Chengyu Middle School, I am also the executive director of the Magic City Calligraphers Association. When Teacher Lu found me with your Chinese test paper yesterday, I was shocked when I saw the handwriting on your test paper. 8-sided, hard and soft, using both the middle and the side, and done in one go. Your calligraphy level is much better than mine. Even in the entire Magic City Calligraphers Association, there are few people who can compare with you. And your composition is also concise, and every word is a pearl. It makes people feel refreshed and full of energy when reading it. With calligraphy and literary talent like you, there is no need to panic even if all other subjects are zero. A true literary master. So I think you don't need to cheat in this exam. Principal Zhang took the initiative to explain with a smile. Oh. It turns out that Principal Zhang is also the executive director of the Magic City Calligraphers Association. Thank you for helping me get rid of those troubles this time. Li Chengyu said with a smile. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ha ha ha. This is what I should do. After all, in this year's college entrance examination, you will have to win glory for our Chengyu Middle School. Although our school is known as the top middle school in the Magic City, it has never produced a national college entrance examination champion in all these years. And now, this task is handed over to you. Principal Zhang said with a smile. Don't worry, no problem. Li Chengyu's tone was quite calm, but it made Principal Zhang and Hu Yuzhou present very convinced. Ha ha ha. Okay. Then I won't delay your study time. If you encounter any problems in the future, you can come to me directly. Principal Zhang also laughed after getting his answer. Yeah. Li Chengyu nodded to the two of them, then got up and left the office, but at this time, the second class had already started. In order to avoid returning to the classroom in the middle of class, it would be embarrassing. Li Chengyu simply stayed in a corner of the campus and continued to browse his phone. He browsed various news about the stock market in the United States, and after some calculations, he added the appropriate stocks to his list of choices. Ding-ling-ling. Until the bell for the end of the second class rang, he walked towards the direction of class 313. Master, are you okay? Seeing Li Qinghao coming back, Su Yunman asked hurriedly. She had been worried that the master would be punished too severely for cheating this time, so much so that she didn't hear a word of what was said in class just now. Of course it's okay. Principal Zhang just invited me to his office for a cup of tea. Special Mingqian Westlake Longjing, it's okay. Li Chengyu said with a smile. After getting this answer, Su Yunman was stunned, and the male and female classmates in the class who were eavesdropping were also stunned. After the monthly exam, you were invited to the principal's office for tea. I think this is your last cup of tea in school. Although Li Chengyu has become more handsome, he has also become more pretentious. I think he must have received a very severe punishment, so he is embarrassed to say it out loud. I don't know when Principal Zhang will make the punishment of Li Chengyu public and let Fatty Zhao get justice. No matter what, I will always support our Chengyu. Li Chengyu ignored the various inner thoughts of the students in class 313. After he sat back in his seat, he started swiping his phone again. However, at this time, he did not continue to look at the US stock market, but opened the Chinese stock market. It was past 9:30, and the Chinese stock market finally opened. The trend chart of the stock that he bought last Friday, which hit the limit, still showed a straight red line at the top. As a result, the market value of Li Chengyu's holdings was able to rise by another 10%, and the book funds barely reached 50 million. Without any hesitation, he took advantage of the fact that there were still many buy orders on the daily limit board and decisively sold all of them to secure the profits. Then he removed this stock from his own selection. He probably won't see it again in a short time. After this wave of operations, Li Chengyu picked and chose among the self-selected stocks, and kept calculating with his fingers. Finally, he selected 5 reliable green stocks and began to buy them in batches. However, buying stocks this time was not as comfortable as the previous one. The daily limit is not so easy to appear. Li Chengyu now needs to grasp the rhythm and place buy orders at different prices of these 5 stocks in turn. Don't place too many orders, and don't buy too fiercely, otherwise, the stock prices of these 5 stocks will be pulled up by his funds, which is not what he wants. Even if he wants to raise the prices, he has to wait until he has invested all his funds. It took more than half an hour. Li Chengyu finally used his 50 million funds to absorb all the chips at the low prices of these 5 stocks. Now he just needs to wait for the stock market to open again in the afternoon and wait for them to soar. It seems that tonight, I have to develop a software for myself to absorb chips at low prices and sell them at high prices. Li Chengyu made a decision silently. Now I only have 50 million funds on hand, and it is so time-consuming to operate in the stock market. When the funds on hand grow to 500 million or 1 billion in the future, what should I do? Do I have to spend all day in the stock market? Of course not. Although there are some software with similar functions on the market, Li Chengyu doesn't think much of them. Not only are the functions rubbish, but they are also not very reliable. Also, only by writing a dedicated stock trading software for yourself can you feel more at ease, and this software can be used not only in the Chinese stock market, but also in the American stock market. The $3.8 billion of funds also need to be invested as soon as possible to let them start to produce themselves. After Li Chengyu finished dealing with Chinese stocks, he continued to screen US stocks one by one. There are more than 7,000 listed companies in the entire US stock market, including many companies with a market value of more than $500 billion. The market can be said to be very large. Several of these companies have extraordinary potential, for example, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, Netflix, Adobe, etc. Although their current market value is only tens of billions of dollars, they are not ranked high in the entire US stock market. However, Li Chengyu read various materials, had experiences in different parallel worlds, and after careful calculations, he found that these companies have broad prospects in the future and have the potential to become world-class giants. So they will also be his key investment targets. Later, Li Chengyu will buy a large amount of these companies when their stock prices are low, and continue to buy. He will even contact the shareholders of these companies through relevant institutions and buy shares directly from them. Li Chengyu's goal is to become a top shareholder in these companies and have the right to speak. Of course, this is a relatively medium and long-term goal and cannot be achieved for the time being. His $3.80 billion in funds is currently only enough to become a major shareholder of one of these listed companies, which is far from his goal. Therefore, Li Chengyu needs to make his $3.8 billion continue to grow rapidly in the stock market of the United States to support him and continue to buy stocks of these companies. Fortunately, he found Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, and other companies through calculations. Although their market value will increase in the next few years, the increase is not very large. It should stay at the stage below $50 billion for a long time, so Li Chengyu still has plenty of time at present. Chapter 43. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed by little, in a blink of an eye. The bell for the afternoon school rang. In Li Chengyu's self-selected list of US stocks, there are already hundreds of stocks, except for a few stocks that are intended to be held for a long time. The other stocks will be US stocks that will rise sharply in the short term, and tonight, when the US stock market opens, Li Chengyu will gradually invest his $3.8 billion in these hundreds of stocks, and in the next month, these invested funds will also bring him at least double the returns. Although this is much slower than Li Chengyu's funds in the Chinese stock market, which doubled in a few days. but there is no way, the amount of funds is too large and it is so troublesome to operate, and because the US stock market is relatively stable, it is not easy to experience a sharp rise or fall. So doubling or tripling in a month is almost the limit of what Li Qingyu can do, but people do need to be content, although doubling or tripling in a month does not seem to be that much, but if this happens once a month, it will be quite amazing in a year. Of course, as Li Qingyu invests more money in the stock market, it will be more difficult to double it. In the end, how much the 3.8 billion yuan can grow in a year will only be known at that time. Brother, I heard that you got the first place in the grade. And it's a high score of 748 points, that when Li Qingyu and Su Yunman arrived at the parking lot, Li Qingxin opened the car door from the inside before they opened it, with surprise and disbelief in his eyes. Oh. How did you know? Li Qingyu asked. This is 748 points. It's not 648 points. Of course, this news has spread throughout the school. Only comprehensive science and English were deducted 1 point each, and all the others were full marks. What kind of amazing results are these? I can't help but know. Li Qingxin made an extremely exaggerated expression. I did get 748 points in this monthly exam. Didn't I say I would surprise you before? Huh, how about it? Are you surprised? Li Qingyu looked at her and smiled. When he was eating in the cafeteria at noon today, he felt that many people were paying attention to him. It seems that this is not only because he changed his appearance, so he attracted the attention of people around him, perhaps this is also because the results of this monthly exam are too exaggerated. I am more than just surprised. I was simply shocked by your results. Li Qingxin patted his shoulder vigorously, as if he wanted to vent his surprise. Second brother, tell me quietly, did you cheat in this monthly exam? She approached Li Qingyu cleverly and asked in a relatively small voice. Of course, I didn't cheat. With my strength, why would I need to cheat in this small exam? Li Qingyu looked at his eccentric sister and teased. Ha ha ha. I knew you didn't cheat. This must be another effect of the Chongqing Ju, right? As long as you practice the Chongqing Ju, you can not only become a peerless master in the martial arts world, but also dominate the literary world and be invincible in all exams. When I, Li Qingxin, also practice this skill, I will beat those academic masters in the class. Let them know that even if they take the exam again, they can't beat me. Wow, ha ha ha. Li Qingxin put her hands on her hips and laughed up to the sky. She thought she had discovered the secret of Li Qingyu's good grades this time, and looked forward to her bright future. However, although practicing the longevity secret can indeed make people clear-headed, it is still a long way to go to achieve the level of Li Qingyu. Okay, let's get in the car and go home. Don't let father and mother get anxious. Li Qingyu interrupted her middle school action, got into the car, and asked her to hurry up. When the three of them returned to the Li family manor by car, a lot of food had been served in the restaurant. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, swimming in the water, as well as various vegetables and fungi, make people's appetites open. Even the red wine has almost woken up, just waiting for them to go home, so that they can eat directly. Chengyu, sit down. Today's red wine is specially sent by my friend. It is produced in the Jefferson Winery in Gaul. It has been stored for nearly 200 years. It is soft, refreshing, fragrant and complex. It is a rare top-grade product. Let's go. Well, let's drink a few glasses. Big brother Li Qinghao shouted when he saw them coming back. It seems that the red wine on the table is really good, and he is already a little impatient. Father, mother, big brother, wait a moment. Guess how many points did the second brother get in the monthly exam this time? After putting down his school bag, Li Qingxin rarely paid attention to the various delicacies on the table. Instead, he showed a clever and weird expression to everyone, interrupted Li Qinghao's words, and kept everyone in suspense. Second brother, sister Yunman, you are not allowed to say anything. Let everyone guess first. She said to Li Qingyu and Su Yunman again. This made them smile and shake their heads helplessly. Oh. Did Chengyu make great progress this time? Then I guess he got 490 points. When the mother saw her daughter's expression, she knew that her youngest son should have made great progress in this monthly exam. This also aroused her interest. After considering and estimating for a while, she gave a guess of 490 points. After all, in the last monthly exam, Li Qingyu didn't even get 350 points. There is still a lot of room for improvement in this score. Maybe it can be improved by more than 100 points at a time. Father, what about you? Li Qingxin was immediately happy when she heard her mother's guess, and turned to look at Li Ziyi. Well, as soon as I saw your expression, I knew that your mother's guess was not accurate enough. I estimate that Chengyu should have scored around 510 points in this monthly exam. My father has been away from home for many years, dealing with all kinds of people, so he can see through people's hearts. From Li Qingxin's external performance, he knew at a glance that the data his wife had guessed just now was too low, so he increased the score by 20 points on the previous base. The reason why he didn't increase it much was because he had always been concerned about his youngest son's situation and was quite familiar with Li Qingyu's previous grades. When his wife said 490 points just now, he felt that it was a bit too much, and now he gave a score of 510, which was beyond the limit. Hee. What about you, big brother? How many points do you think the second brother got this time? Li Qingxin was amused by his father and mother's guesses, and continued to ask about his big brother. Chapter 44. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh. Did father guess too low? Then I guess Chengyu should have scored 550 points. Li Qinghao added another 30 points to his father's guess. Haha, you all guessed wrong. My second brother scored 748 points in this monthly exam. Except for English and comprehensive science, which were deducted 1 point each, the other 2 subjects were full marks. Li Qingxin laughed proudly, as if she was the one who scored such a high score. 748 points. Isn't this too exaggerated? Even among the top scorers in the National College entrance examination in previous years, no one could score such a high score, right? That when the family heard this answer, they all opened their mouths wide, their faces full of disbelief. Chengyu, did you really score 748 points? The eldest brother was stunned for a long time, turned his head and looked at him and asked. Well, I got so many points. After I suddenly got enlightened a few days ago, I felt that all the knowledge I had learned before was suddenly integrated. Plus, this exam was not difficult at all, so I got such a score. Li Qingyu said with a smile. Why was this exam not difficult? You left the second place in the 3rd year of high school far behind. Li Qingxin glanced at him and retorted. In my opinion, the Changxing is still powerful enough. Not only can it make the body stronger, but it can also make people smarter. Hee. I can't wait to study. She laughed again unconsciously. Chengyu got a good score of 748 in the monthly exam this time. Let's drink. Today, let's not go home until we are drunk. Li Qinghao stood up excitedly when he heard that his second brother had overcome the difficulties in learning, raised the wine glass in his hand, and said loudly. The whole family had no doubt about the authenticity of Li Qingyu's score in this monthly exam. He had shown his magic to everyone in the past few days, it was just that the score was too exaggerated, so that they were a little stunned just now. However, Li Qingyu, who picked up the wine glass, proposed a different idea at this time. How about we eat more vegetables and drink less alcohol today? After all, after dinner, I can give you a final body combing. Wait until tomorrow, I can teach you the secret of longevity. In fact, combing the body has nothing to do with how much alcohol you drink, it's just that he wants to return to his room early and develop a stock trading auxiliary software for low-level accumulation and high-level delivery, so that it can be used directly when the US stock market opens in the evening. Yes. It's still important to comb the body. Then let's have a few drinks today, and then drink together in 2 days. Li Qinghao nodded repeatedly when he heard his brother say this. Compared to drinking, it is naturally more important to comb the body and learn the secret of longevity. After the whole family sat down at the table, they began to pick up their chopsticks to enjoy all kinds of delicious food. It was just because of what Li Qingyu said just now that everyone unconsciously accelerated their eating speed. after only half an hour, everyone was full and came to the living room on the side. Let father come first today. Li Chengyu stood behind his father, put his hands on his shoulders, and began to inject pure true energy into his body. This time, Li Ziyi did not ask his son whether he needed to detoxify, he is now familiar with it, and he only needs to sit upright on a chair and enjoy the service. This feeling of combing the body is really too wonderful, making him a little unable to stop. After helping his father to comb the body, the next one is the eldest brother, then the younger sister, and finally, Su Yunman. When Li Chengyu began to inject true energy into Su Yunman's body, he found that her physique had improved significantly compared to yesterday. Because she had practiced for more than 10 years, she absorbed true energy much more fully than her family. It is likely that tonight, after she completely integrates the true energy into herself, she will be able to break through the bottleneck of bright energy and enter the dark energy stage. Entering the dark energy before the age of 20, such an achievement will probably cause an uproar in the Chinese martial arts world of this era. Li Chengyu has also learned some basic information about the current Chinese martial arts world through communication with his father and elder brother in the past 2 days. Even the most talented practitioners, when they break through to the dark energy, they are all over 30 years old. But Su Yunman suddenly brought this time forward by more than 10 years, how can it not be shocking? Especially for the practice of national martial arts, the earlier the breakthrough, the better, the more room there is for improvement in the future. After the age of 50, as the qi and blood begin to decline, it will be very difficult to make any major improvements. The rare masters of Huajin in China, without exception, all successfully broke through before the age of 60. Su Yunman can become a master of Anjin at the age of 18, then the probability that she can step into Huajin in the future will be much greater than that of others. Of course, now that Li Chengyu combs her body for her, and the subsequent practice of Changxingju, Su Yunman's ultimate goal now is not Huajin, but only the subsequent Danjin and the acquired realm. After helping the 4 people comb their bodies, Li Chengyu checked his mother's practice again. After finding that everything was going very well, he returned to his room on the 2nd floor, turned on the computer, and began to tinker with the stock trading auxiliary software. Compared with the cumbersome Feishuan software, the stock trading auxiliary software is much easier to develop. Not only are the functions simpler, but some icons and so on do not need to be original at all. Anyway, it is just for personal use, so there is no need to pay too much attention to it. In the sound of continuous code typing, he only spent more than an hour to develop this stock trading auxiliary tool. Not only is there a computer terminal, but also a mobile terminal. Li Chengyu opened the stock trading auxiliary tool on the computer terminal and linked it to his US stock account. Then he checked all the hundreds of stocks that he wanted to buy in the self-selected list today. Finally, he set certain parameter values for them, and everything was done. After that, as long as Li Chengyu's computer is not turned off, it can stay there and continue to absorb funds at low levels according to the parameters he just set. This is much easier than manual operation. After everything was done, the time was exactly 10 o'clock. After a simple wash, Li Chengyu sat cross-legged on his big bed and began to practice the I am the only one in the world today. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time passed quickly during the practice, as if the sky began to brighten in the blink of an eye. Li Chengyu finished his practice, stood up, and went to the computer to check. After one night, the US stock market had already closed, and with the help of the stock trading auxiliary tool, his $3.8 billion of funds had all been used to buy the hundreds of stocks he had selected before. Li Chengyu only needed to gradually sell these stocks at high prices after about a month to double his assets. Well, it was quite stable. Li Chengyu turned off the computer, washed up briefly, and went downstairs to enjoy breakfast. Master! I broke through to the dark energy. That he had just taken 2 bites of the big meat bun when he saw Su Yunman running in from outside with an excited look on her face. When I woke up this morning, I felt that I had become much stronger, and the strength in my body had also greatly improved. I just tried to exercise, but I didn't expect that I had already broken through to the dark energy. This is really incredible. Su Yunman's face was full of surprise, and her previous image of a cold and pure girl was completely abandoned by her. She wanted to hug the young master and turn around 3 times. Dark energy. This is dark energy. The most powerful person in the entire Su family is only at this stage. Originally, Su Yunman thought that if she wanted to cultivate to this level, she would have to wait until she was at least 35 years old. If she slacked off a little, she might never reach this level, but now, with the help of the young master, she has become a dark energy master at the age of 18. How can she not be happy? It's just dark energy, don't get too excited. Hurry up and sit down to eat, you still have to go to school later. Li Chengyu smiled at her and handed her a big meat bun. Su Yunman was struck by the calmness of the young master, and her fiery energy suddenly subsided a lot. She took the bun and stuffed it into her mouth. After you practice the Chongqing Ju today, you will find that whether it is dark energy or transformation energy, it is not worth mentioning to you. You need to look further ahead in your future goals and think about a higher realm. Li Chengyu drank a mouthful of soy milk and continued to talk to her. Okay, young master. I know. Su Yunman nodded, thinking about it carefully. I did make a fuss. The young master has already practiced to become a rare acquired master in a century. Of course, my small dark energy strength will not be taken seriously by him, but what does the young master mean by this? Does that mean I also have a chance to become a postnatal master? While Su Yunman was thinking, Li Qingxin also went downstairs. Second brother, I feel that my strength is much greater than before. I just tried it, and I can easily move the desk in the room. Next time, if those young boys in the class come to provoke me again, I will beat them so hard that their mothers won't recognize them. Hee. When Li Qingxin woke up today, she also felt that her physical fitness had improved again. She tried the desk in the room again, and found that the desk that seemed a little difficult to move yesterday, although it was not easy to move today, was also easy to move. Okay, let's eat quickly. Otherwise, you will have to eat on the way later. Li Qingyu also poured a basin of cold water on her. Oh. After hearing what her second brother said, Li Qingxin found that it was indeed late, so she quickly picked up a fried dough stick and stuffed it into her mouth. After the three of them finished breakfast, they hurriedly took a Mercedes-Benz commercial vehicle to Chengyu Middle School. Why hasn't the school issued a punishment for Li Qingyu yet? Some male students in class 313 couldn't bear to see Li Qingyu, who had changed his appearance, steal their limelight. If you steal their limelight in study, no one would care, but if you steal everyone's limelight in appearance, it would be really unethical. So many students are now waiting for the school to punish Li Qingyu, but after waiting for a long time, Chengyu Middle School still didn't see any big moves until the end of school yesterday afternoon, and everyone was about to lose patience. Humph. If there is still no teacher to punish Li Qingyu after the morning self-study time today, I will go to the class teacher's office to ask them to issue a notice as soon as possible. Fat Zhao's face was swollen from being slapped, and now it has returned to normal. However, the anger in his eyes showed no sign of melting away at all. If he hadn't been beaten twice before, he would have known that he was good at using force. In terms of the other aspects, he was no match for Li Qingyu at all. He wanted to run over and fight him to the death. In Zhao Pengzi's heart, he had already determined that Li Qingyu's monthly exam results were obtained by cheating. He had been waiting for the result of the school's punishment since yesterday morning, and now, he really couldn't wait any longer. The blazing fire in his heart was about to ignite him, especially when he saw Li Qingyu and Su Yunman walking into the classroom leisurely. The anger and jealousy in his heart made him feel like he was about to explode. Zhao Pengzi, we support you. Yes, everyone supports you. We must overthrow Li Qingyu's bad behavior. Zhao Pengzi, if you can deal with Li Qingyu, I will treat you to milk tea. I'll buy you a pack of huazi. The boys in the class had some sympathy for Li Qingyu's experience before, but since he changed his outfit and hairstyle, he has become everyone's common enemy. But Li Qingyu didn't have time to care what his classmates were thinking. After he sat down, he started to read all kinds of news, but the 3G network was really not powerful, which affected his reading efficiency. After the morning self-study get out of class, Zhao Mingquan walked out of the classroom under the attention of the boys in class 313. This gave him a sense of achievement. Li Qingyu, you wait. Your retribution is coming soon. Fatty Zhao didn't hesitate at all. After leaving the classroom, he went straight to Hu Yuzhou's office. Teacher Hu, how does the school plan to deal with Li Qingyu's cheating this time? After entering the office, he saw the head teacher who was preparing lessons. Fatty Zhao asked directly. After waiting for a day and a night, he had had enough of this torture. Li Qingyu cheated. Who told you he cheated? Hu Yuzhou looked at him and asked back. Everyone said he cheated, is this true? Fatty Zhao suddenly felt a little confused when asked by the head teacher, why is it different from what I imagined? Chapter 46. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone says Li Qingyu cheated, so he cheated? Then tell me, how did he cheat? Whose test paper did he copy? Hu Yuzhou stared at him and continued to ask. He. After being asked this by the head teacher, Fatty Zhao didn't know how to answer for a while after uttering a word, although almost everyone in class 313 subjectively believed that Li Qingyu cheated, but how exactly did he cheat? He couldn't explain it at all. I just felt that it was impossible for him to get such a high score, but everyone thought that Li Qingyu couldn't do so well, so he cheated. Thinking about it carefully, it really didn't make sense. Li Qingyu always handed in the test paper so quickly, how could he get a high score? He must have gotten the test paper for this monthly exam in advance and memorized the answers. Fat Zhao turned his mind and blurted out some classmates' speculations. Where's the evidence? Who can prove that he got the test paper in advance? Hu Yuzhou stared at him and asked again. This. Fat Zhao was speechless again. Okay, go back to the classroom. There is only 1 month left before the college entrance examination. You should focus on reviewing and try to get a good score by then. Don't worry about other people's scores. The head teacher waved at him. Okay. Fat Zhao pursed his lips and wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. In the end, he had to walk out of the office in disappointment. How is it? How is it? When will the head teacher punish Li Qingyu? Is the punishment severe? Does he need to be expelled? Expulsion is not necessary. It's just cheating in an exam. I think he should be given a serious demerit. Well, in addition to a serious demerit, I think he must also write a 5,000-word self-examination. A bunch of classmates who couldn't stand Li Qingyu's handsome face immediately surrounded him and asked him when they saw Fatty Zhao coming back. But Fatty Zhao's head was full of chatter, and he felt like his head was about to explode. He had a gloomy face, and in the face of various questions, he always kept silent and sat hard on his stool. Pa! Fat Zhao, everyone is talking to you. Why didn't you respond at all? Do you know how to be polite? A familiar classmate saw that he didn't say a word from beginning to end, so he gently patted the back of his head to remind him. Pa! Pa! I'm so mad. How dare you hit me? I'm so mad. Although he was only slapped lightly on the back of his head, it would be a harmless thing if it were normal. It was just a little joke, but at this moment, it became a fuse, igniting the anger that Fatty Zhao had accumulated in his heart for a day and a night. He exploded instantly, and it was out of control. If I can't beat Li Qingyu, can I beat you? Facts have proved that Fatty Zhao's fighting power is actually quite good. After all, he weighs nearly 200 kilograms. Although the opponent's height is similar to his, he was stunned by his sudden attack and continuous attacks. He was pressed under him and had no power to fight back. Fuck, Fatty Zhao is crazy. Everyone, pull him away quickly. Fuck, why is he so strong? Wang Hongjiu, run quickly, I can't hold him anymore. After being blocked by 3 people, Wang Hongjiu, who was pressed under Fatty Zhao, finally climbed out. At this time, he was not only hit several times, but also had 2 big slap marks on his face, which were extremely clear and looked painful, so much so that Wang's eyes were filled with tears. Fat Zhao, you can't deal with Li Qingyu, but you actually bully me. Just wait. I'll go to the class teacher to tell you. Wang Hongjiu ran out of the classroom cursing and disappeared in a flash. 2 minutes later, he rushed back with Hu Yuzhou, who looked at the messy classroom and felt extremely tired, but as the class teacher, he had to deal with it. Zhao Mingshan, come to my office, Hu Yuzhou said with a gloomy face to Zhao Fatty, who had calmed down a little but still had a blank look in his eyes. After hearing what the head teacher said, Zhao Mingquan stood up like a zombie and walked out of the classroom. He didn't know what happened to him today and why he was so irritable. Aren't they on good terms with Wang Hongju? Why did he hit him just now? I can't figure it out. The 2 slaps felt really good. It would have been even better if they were on Li Chengyu. The disturbances in the class did not affect Li Chengyu, who was constantly browsing his phone. After browsing the world situation and analyzing it constantly in his brain over the past few days, he has learned more about this plane, but it's not enough. He needs to continue to get more information. Ding-ling-ling. Time passed while browsing the phone, and it was lunchtime in a blink of an eye. Li Chengyu put down his slightly hot phone and went to the school cafeteria with Su Yunman, a king crab, 3 steaks, and some vegetables. This is his simple meal. Su Yunman didn't know if it was because his strength had increased too quickly in the past few days and the amount of exercise had increased, resulting in a sharp increase in the energy required by the body. She also took a lot today, a big lobster, a steak, and various vegetarian dishes. The 2 of them carried their full plates of food, found an empty seat and sat down, and began to eat. Li Chengyu, I didn't expect you to cheat this time and get the first place in the grade. It seems that you are not as honest as everyone thinks. After a few days, Wu Qixing, a campus celebrity who had lost a lot of weight again, came to the cafeteria again. When he saw the cold and beautiful Su Yunman and the handsome Li Chengyu together, he could no longer suppress his jealousy. Why is it not me who is with Su Yunman? Why can this Li Chengyu become so handsome? Wu Qixing, who was originally in a low mood and couldn't get motivated to do anything, suddenly became furious. Yunman, you should have seen the true face of this guy now, right? Leave him quickly, you won't be happy with him. Wu Qixing said to Su Yunman, who was unhappy with him. I have told you many times that I am not familiar with you, don't call me Yunman. Also, you can't point fingers at my young master. If you are rude to him again, I will teach you a lesson, Su Yunman said coldly to him. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wu Qixing wanted to say something to Su Yunman, but he suddenly saw a mountain of flesh coming in from the cafeteria door. He quickly moved away from Su Yunman and found an empty seat to sit down. Fortunately, Wu Qixing left early. If he had stayed for one more second, Li Chengyu was going to let him taste the power of the soul-bewitching technique again. Forget it, he's already miserable enough, let's let him go this time. Pa! A rather thick flesh palm slapped Wu Qixing's back, causing his thinner body to stagger forward. Didn't I ask you to pick me up in our classroom first? Why did you come to the cafeteria alone? Don't you love me anymore? Don't you? Tian Suan was a little hysterical, and her voice was so loud that the whole cafeteria almost shook. All the students and staff in the cafeteria looked over here. Tian Suan really cherished this hard-earned relationship, so she was always worried about losing it, so she became very sensitive to Wu Qixing's various behaviors. How could I not love you? I love you very, very much. Wu Qixing forced a smile on his face and said in a low voice. Then you should speak louder and tell everyone that you will love me forever. Tian Suan felt a little better after hearing him say that. Isn't this not good? This is a public place and it will affect other people. Let's find a place where no one is around later, and I will definitely speak loudly to you. Wu Qixing apologized repeatedly. Pa! Another loud slap sounded from his back. The corners of the mouths of other students in the cafeteria twitched, and everyone thought that Wu Qixing's back was at least red. Say it right here. I want everyone to know your love for me, Tian Suan said again. I love you. I will love you forever. Wu Qixing's lips trembled, and a trace of grief and anger flashed in his eyes. But in the end, he shouted it out according to Tian Suan's request. He knew that if he didn't do it, things would only get bigger and more embarrassing. What Wu Qixing hoped most now was that the cooperation between the Wu family and the Qian family could end as soon as possible, so that he could get rid of this meat mountain as soon as possible. But if the head of the Wu family knew his idea, he would only sneer. The cooperation between the top families and the top families can continue until one of them perishes. Li Chengyu and Su Yunman ignored the farce in the cafeteria. and would not sympathize with Wu Qixing's sadness. After lunch, the two went to do their own things. Su Yunman needed to go back to the classroom and review again, so that she could improve her score more in the college entrance examination. Judging from the results of this monthly exam, she is only a few points away from her goal of 700 points, and these days, I don't know if it's because of the masters. Combing of her body, Su Yunman feels that her mind is much clearer, and her learning and memory efficiency has also improved a lot. In this last month before the college entrance examination, she feels that the possibility of her grades improving has greatly increased. After lunch, Li Qingyu did not return to the classroom. He strolled around Chengyu Middle School to exercise his control over his body. He did this after lunch these 2 days. It's just that the 1 hour before class is not enough. His control over his body is still at 71%, and he has not been able to improve even 1 percentage point. Because Li Qingyu changed his look, he is a bit eye-catching on campus. Wherever he goes, he will always be secretly noticed by the female classmates around him. Privacy has suddenly dropped a level. Of course, he didn't care about the eyes of the people around him. He walked until 2 minutes before the bell rang, and then he rushed back to the classroom. Then he sat in his seat and continued to browse his phone. Whether it was reading the news or playing around with the stock market, there would always be something to do. Time passed by little. In a blink of an eye, a day passed. After school, Li Qingyu, Li Qingxin and Su Yunman took the Chamber of Commerce car back to the manor. Then the whole family sat at the dining table and ate food, because they were worried about drinking. There was no wine for dinner today, only food. Later, everyone had a very important thing to do, that is, to learn the secret of longevity. Except for Yi Hongyu, who had already learned it, everyone else had gone through 3 days of grooming. After the detoxification process, the whole body can be regarded as pure and flawless, basically meeting the requirements of quick entry into the longevity formula. Everyone was silent and swallowed in big mouthfuls. In less than half an hour, everyone had finished their meal and moved to the living room next door. Let's start with father first. Li Qingyu knew that everyone was a little impatient, so there was no nonsense and he started directly. Yeah. The father nodded and sat on the stool, and Li Qingyu also put his hands on his shoulders, and the extremely pure true essence was slowly injected into his body. Try to feel the operation of the heat flow in your body, and try to guide the strength in your body to follow this heat flow. Li Ziyi was relatively familiar with this heat flow. In the past 3 days, his body was getting better and better with their help, and what he had to do now was to feel the strength in his body and let them join this heat flow. The spiritual roots are strong and never fade. There is a scholar in the middle pool wearing red clothes. The 3-inch god resides horizontally, and the inside and outside are separated and tightly closed. The divine house should be repaired. The Xuanfu trachea receives the sperm, and the sperm is quickly consolidated to maintain itself. There are scholars in the house who often wear red clothes. In theory, it is not easy for ordinary people who have never practiced to feel the strength in their bodies, but Li Ziyi had been combing his body for 3 consecutive days, and his meridians and marrow had been thoroughly cleansed. When he listened to Li Qingyu's chanting, mixed with the magic formula of spiritual power, he soon sensed the strength scattered in various parts of his body, and successfully condensed them and joined the surging heat flow, while he felt the mystery of the strength flowing through the meridians in his body. He memorized the route the strength traveled: 1 zhou-tian, 2 zhou-tian, 3 zhou-tian. When Li Qingyu took his palm away from his father's shoulder, he seemed to be unaware and continued to practice. He was even completely immersed in it. Well, this means that he has officially entered the martial arts world and become a real warrior. Li Qingyu did not disturb his father's practice and came behind Li Qinghao again. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brother, do you know what to do? Li Qingyu put his palm on Li Qinghao's shoulder. Of course. Let's start, I can't wait. He said with a smile. Close your eyes and concentrate. As Li Qingyu injected the true energy into the elder brother's body again, the other party also followed the formula he kept chanting and became familiar with the operation of the technique little by little. You can see it and you won't get sick. Stand a long ruler horizontally on it. You can keep it and you won't get hurt. Breathe in the room and you will be rewarded. You will be blessed if you keep your body strong. Be careful in your heart. Your spirit will return to old age and strength. Your heart knot will flow down. When Chengyu felt that the elder brother was able to run the technique on his own, he stopped guiding him and let him continue to practice on his own. After the elder brother was the clever and eccentric younger sister. Everyone has a dream of becoming a master, and Chengyu in adolescence is even more so. She sat upright on the stool early, closed her eyes, and waited to learn the Chengyu. But Chengyu could see that her heart was extremely turbulent, and she had not calmed down at all. Concentrate and calm down. That with a light shout mixed with spiritual power, Chengyu finally stabilized her mentality, and listening to the formulas Chengyu chanted, she mobilized the strength in her body and began to practice. After the younger sister, it was Su Yunman who had reached the dark power stage. She was also very excited. After all, the cultivation method she was about to learn was the Chengyu, which was far superior to the level of the Su family's secret method, and could directly lead to the postnatal realm. If the Chinese martial arts community knew that there was such a method, it would definitely cause a bloody storm for it, but today, she can really practice it. How can she not be excited? But Su Yunman's mentality is much more mature than Chengyu's. After several deep breaths, she finally calmed down. After feeling the heat flow in her body, she also mobilized her internal strength and joined the operation route of Chengyu. This is really a wonderful experience that cannot be described in words. Su Yunman felt that the difference between the exercises she practiced in the past and this one was simply heaven and earth, and there was no comparison at all. She felt lucky to learn Chengyu. Seeing that everyone was practicing in the living room, her mother Yi Hongyu also sat down and entered the state of practice. For a while, the whole living room became very quiet. Everyone closed their eyes and sat upright, as if they had become sculptures, and the scene looked a little weird. After Chengyu taught everyone Chengyu, he did not leave immediately. Instead, he waited until everyone had finished practicing before returning to his room on the second floor. He began to write Feishuan's code, and the sound of keyboard tapping became one. Time always flows away inadvertently. My father and elder brother left the Li family manor on the third day after learning the Chengyu. The reason why they did not leave directly on the morning of the second day was that they wanted to stabilize themselves and deal with the company's affairs after they were sure that there was no problem in practicing the technique. After all, although the group company is important, the Chengyu and their own bodies are equally important. But the facts proved that their worries were unnecessary. In the following 2 days, through Chenyu's observation, their practice was very smooth and they had formed a trace of internal force in their bodies. In the future, they only need to continue to practice step by step. However, Chenyu also reminded them that they can arrange some practical training for themselves in their spare time, so as to improve their experience in attacking, defending, and dealing with various sudden situations. Otherwise, it would be a great waste to have a lot of strength but not be able to use it at all, and only with enough experience can they deal with it calmly when the crisis really comes. My father and elder brother deeply agree with Chenyu's proposal. He also said that he would set aside some time every day to conduct actual combat training, not just practicing the longevity secret in silence. As for who to find to improve the actual combat experience, Chenyu had no worries at all. After all, the Li family is one of the 17 top families in the Magic City, and my father and eldest brother have bodyguards when they go out, and they are not the kind of bodyguards with fancy clothes, but real masters of national martial arts. My father is the patriarch of the Li family, and his bodyguard is Su Yunman's uncle, who has reached the dark power stage. As the eldest son of the Li family, his bodyguard has not reached the dark power stage, but is also at the peak of the bright power, and should not be underestimated. Let their bodyguards become their respective sparring partners to increase the actual combat experience of their father and brother. No problem at all. As for mother and younger sister, there is no need to worry either. Su Yunman can teach them how to fight and practice actual combat with them on weekdays. With her current dark energy strength, it is completely enough. The Chengyu from the high martial arts plane is different from the ordinary exercises in this plane. The exercises in this world are to refine the body first and then practice qi, and the body training is divided into 4 small stages: bright energy, dark energy, transformation energy, and Dan energy. The strongest master known to the public at present is only in the transformation energy stage. But the Chengyu is different. It is to refine the body and qi at the same time. After successfully entering the exercises, father, elder brother, mother and others have acquired true qi in their bodies, and these acquired true qi will also warm their bodies and improve their physical strength. Let them gradually go through the stages of bright energy, dark energy, transformation energy, and Dan energy without any bottlenecks. However, as the top-level martial arts in the world of high martial arts, Chengyu also has certain requirements for the spiritual energy between heaven and earth. With the current concentration of spiritual energy in this plane, everyone has basically no possibility of breaking through the acquired realm and entering the innate realm in the future. In the end, it is very likely that they will stagnate at the peak of the acquired realm and will never make any progress. However, such an achievement is much stronger than any master of Huajin. It is not an exaggeration to call him a little Superman. As long as you give yourself some more practical experience, you can completely defeat the invincible opponent in the world. Time continues to pass little by little, regardless of whether the students in class 313 like to study or not, but the countdown numbers on the blackboard at the back of the classroom are decreasing day by day. When there are only 10 days left before the college entrance examination, the entire senior year also ushered in the last monthly exam before the college entrance examination. There is not much time left to review and improve. Some students seem to have finally woken up at this time and started to study hard, trying to struggle, but most of the students in class 313 are like dead pigs that are not afraid of boiling water. At most, they will just go to school and then go back to inherit the family business. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Chengyu has gained a lot in the past month. Of course, this gain is not a learning gain. After all, he has already reached a limit in terms of learning. How high his score can be is not determined by whether he can do the questions. It depends on the subjective consciousness of the examiner, whether he should be deducted for the essay he wrote. Li Chengyu's gains during this period mainly come from the stock market. After a month of continuous growth, the more than 26 million yuan of capital initially invested in Huagu has now become more than 240 million yuan. Since Huagu has many stocks that hit the daily limit every day, the speed at which Li Chengyu's funds grow is far beyond the imagination of those who are sinking in the stock market. In just 1 month, it has almost doubled tenfold, and because Li Chengyu's funds in the stock market are now relatively large, so the daily income is far from what it could be before. Now only one daily limit can allow him to gain more than 24 million yuan. Wait until 10 days later, when the college entrance examination is really over. Li Chengyu's funds on the books of Chinese stocks will also steadily exceed 400 million. However, there is a limit to this level of growth. After all, the number of stocks that hit the daily limit in Chinese stocks is also limited. Li Chengyu estimated that the average daily rate of return of more than 10% would only be applicable when the funds were within 1 billion, once his funds exceeded 1 billion. The plates of those stocks that hit the daily limit would not be able to accommodate such a huge amount of funds. As for the funds exceeding 1 billion, they can only be invested in other high-growth stocks, maintaining a growth rate of about 6 or 7 points, but even so, it is quite good. Compared with Li Chengyu's investment in Chinese stocks, the rate of return he had previously invested in US stocks was much worse. Because the volume of $3.8 billion of funds was a bit large, he invested them in hundreds of US stocks respectively, and because it was a medium and long-term operation, Li Chengyu basically did not touch them in the past month. Now, some of these stocks have grown 3 or 4 times compared to before, while others have only grown 1 or 2 times. Even stocks such as Tesla, Nvidia, and Netflix have not even grown by 10%, and have remained sideways. After such a long time, the funds invested in US stocks have only increased by more than double as a whole. The current book value shows more than $8.6 billion. In addition to gaining something in the stock market in the past month, Li Chengyu has also improved his control over his body. After lunch every day, Li Chengyu would stroll and exercise on the campus of Chengyu Middle School. This has increased his control over his body from 71% at the beginning to 74% now. Although the increase does not seem to be large, it has made him quite satisfied. In addition, after a month of continuous development, Li Chengyu finally completed the development of the Feishuan software that was planned to be launched after the college entrance examination yesterday. Feishuan can be divided into 3 versions: computer version, mobile version, and enterprise version. The computer version is 53 megabytes in size, While the mobile version is only 21 megabytes in size, whether in terms of size, performance, or function. It can completely crush the most popular GG communication tools on the market. As for the enterprise version, it is specially prepared for those companies that need to work online, and many exclusive functions have been developed according to the needs of enterprises. Feishuan has been developed, but it does not mean that Li Qingyu has nothing to do at night. Not to mention that he planned to tinker with a set of hacking tools a long time ago. And he also plans to develop a firewall for Feishuan software. Having experienced more than a dozen parallel worlds similar to the current plane, Li Qingyu is very sure that when Feishuan is launched, it will be extremely popular, but the popularity of the software will definitely be watched and envied by many people, and thus be attacked maliciously. Although Feishuan was developed by Li Qingyu in a language that is very different from the current world, and it is also quite mature and perfect in all aspects, and will not be attacked by some thieves or hackers, but Li Qingyu really hates the feeling of passively enduring without fighting back. What he likes is to fight violence with violence. The firewall that Li Qingyu intends to develop for Feishuan is more of a virus tool than a set of protection tools, as long as someone dares to try to invade Feishuan's server and spy on its data. Then these viruses will trace their roots immediately, source, along the network into the computers of those intruders, then clear all the data on their computers, and destroy the CPU, hard disk, BIOS and other hardware facilities in their computers, causing heavy losses to the other party. If the other party was operating an important server at the time, then the end must be very interesting. In the past month, in addition to the gains in the stock market, body control, and software development, Li Qingyu has not made any progress in his own cultivation, due to the concentration of spiritual energy in this plane. He can only stay in the foundation building stage and constantly consolidate his foundation. However, in terms of height, under his intentional control, he has increased by another 3 centimeters to 1.88 meters. The 2-day monthly exam time passed quickly and easily. Li Qingyu completed each exam in a very short time, and then went to deal with his own affairs. Father, after the college entrance examination, I plan to start my own business. I need the family to provide me with some help. That day, after the last English exam was over, Li Qingyu called his father Li Ziyi. Oh. Chengyu, are you planning to go to school and exercise your management skills in the future? Or I can directly allocate a company from the group to you. Starting a business from scratch is too troublesome. After Li Ziyi received a call from his youngest son and heard that he wanted to start a business, although he was a little surprised that he wanted to have his own business so early, he still expressed his support. Father, there is no need to allocate a company to me. Let my eldest brother inherit our family's industry. I still want to start my own business. Although the Li family is one of the 17 top families in the Magic City, it can be regarded as a large family, but in fact, Li Qingyu doesn't think much of it, and he doesn't want to have any conflicts with his family because of these external things. Even with the eldest brother's personality, he would most likely be willing to share with him, but Li Qingyu himself would not accept it. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Well, what kind of help do you want the family to provide you? The father asked after a moment of silence, although he still wanted to directly transfer the company to his youngest son, but after thinking about it, he felt that Li Qingyu was still very young and it was okay for him to start his own business. At worst, he would get hurt and gain experience, and at most he would lose some money, which were all minor details. I want the family to provide me with a reliable office space and help me recruit a group of reliable staff. The most important thing is that the project I plan to start is an internet project, which requires an extremely stable large server unit. Li Qingyu continued. Internet projects are indeed quite hot now, with great prospects and room for growth. But do you need a large server unit for your first business? Or, try running it with an independent large server first. Li Ziyi was not surprised when he heard the direction of his son's project, but he objected to his need for a large server unit. He was worried that his youngest son was a little too ambitious. Don't worry, father. I know what I'm doing. And I've already developed the project. It will be online immediately after the college entrance examination. In addition, I will pay the corresponding funds for all the services provided by the family to me. I'm not asking the family to help me for free. Li Chengyu said affirmatively. In fact, with the funds he has now, he can easily support his early operation of Feishuan by directly finding other companies without relying on any power from the family. It's just that it doesn't matter who makes the money. Isn't it better for the Li family to make it? Moreover, people are greedy, and there are some hidden dangers in finding services from other companies. If the subsequent Feishuan project develops and grows, the office space he rents is difficult for others, or the server units he rents are maliciously damaged, or there are people with bad intentions who use this as a threat to buy shares in his company, it will be another troublesome matter. So it's more reliable to use the resources of the Li family. Has your internet project been developed? When did it happen? Also, do you know how much money it costs to rent a large server unit? Do you have enough funds? Li Zi asked again in surprise. He was a little confused by his youngest son's amazing operation. I have been developing this project for a while, and now it is completely completed. So when the family helps me recruit people later, there is no need to recruit programmers. Just help me recruit a group of operations, customer service, finance, and management positions. As for funds, I have prepared more than 400 million in cash in advance, which should be enough for the early operation of this project. Li Chengyu said. 400 million in cash. Chengyu, where did you get so much money? Li Zi on the other end of the phone widened his eyes. Although 400 million is not particularly eye-catching in the entire Li family group, but this is cash. Even ordinary large companies need some time to get it together. He couldn't imagine how his youngest son got so much money. Father, I haven't used the New Year's money and pocket money that everyone gave me over the years. I invested all of them in the Chinese stock market. And now, the amount in my stock market account has reached several hundred million. Li Chengyu said. Earned from stock trading? Chengyu, you are really a genius. The pocket money and New Year's money we gave you over the years only add up to about 10 or 20 million. I didn't expect that you only spent a few years to increase them by 10 or 20 times. In my opinion, you might as well concentrate on stock trading instead of starting a business. Ha ha ha. Li Zi didn't expect that his youngest son was actually a stock trading genius. Of course, Li Chengyu didn't correct some of his father's misunderstandings. It didn't take him several years to get his assets to this amount, it only took him more than a month to turn his more than 20 million funds into several hundred million. Well, if you have 400 million, it is definitely enough for your project. Whether it is the rental of the site, the rental of large server units, or the salaries of the staff, it is more than enough. The property company under our group has just built 3 office buildings in Puyang District, Shanghai, and has begun to attract investment. You can contact the contractor Hao, let him take you to have a look. We will have enough floors for you when you want them. Servers are also easy to talk about. We have a professional server rental company under our group. Although large server units are a bit troublesome, we can help you with them. It's a bit troublesome with personnel. Please give me a document with the job requirements and the number of personnel you need. I'll see if I can directly assign some people to you from the group. Li Zi pondered. This is the first time for his youngest son to start a business, and he has not yet planned to use the family's funds. Of course, he has to support him strongly. Okay, father. I'll send it to you later. After the father and son chatted for a while, they hung up the phone. The next day, Li Chengyu did not go to school with Li Qingxin and Su Yunman. He called the head teacher directly, saying that the college entrance examination was about to begin, and he was under too much pressure, so he wanted to rest at home for a few days to adjust his mentality. Hu Yuzhou was speechless after receiving Li Qingyu's call. Although there are indeed some students in the entire senior year who have asked for leave to go home because of the psychological pressure of the approaching college entrance examination, but in class 313, this phenomenon rarely occurs. Everyone should still eat and drink, and there is not much atmosphere of the upcoming college entrance examination. And Li Qingyu was swiping his phone every day in class during this month, and he was very stable, so how could he be nervous? Well, then you should rest at home for a few days. When you have adjusted your mentality, come to school to attend classes. Although Hu Yuzhou didn't quite believe Li Qingyu's reason for asking for leave, but at this juncture, there was no way to refuse. On the one hand, what if the other party failed to get the ideal score in the college entrance examination and blamed him for it? How should he explain it? On the other hand, Li Chengyu had never attended classes in school these days, just playing with his mobile phone. Anyway, he couldn't learn anything, so he could stay at home. Okay, teacher who? I will. After getting the answer he wanted, Li Chengyu calmly hung up the phone.